We're back. We need to tilt it.
Good evening, everybody. All right, we are back for another episode or installment of Conversations with Jared and Marquita.
Good evening, everyone. We just left our son and daughter's football game, so we've had a busy day. A busy day today. How's everybody doing? It's just Tuesday. It feels like it's oh Thursday or Friday, like weekend area to come. But it's just Tuesday evening. Hi, Alicia. I hope I'm saying it right. Alicia. Hello.
All right, we're in here. We are in here. We'll wait on a few more people to jump on with us.
Hey, Glenn. I see you watching.
What up, Glenn? Alicia. So today is part two. Today is part two. Y'all share this so we can have some other people joining with us as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we come back every single week, not just to come back, but we come back because we care about you guys. And we know relationships are can be difficult to navigate through, and whether you're married or single or dating. And we're just trying to share, our experiences and the
Mm-hmm.
wisdom that we have over the 16 years being together with one person. So, and in parenting and all the other stuff. So we're excited to be with you guys again tonight. All right, uh, y'all talk to us, say hi. Let me know you're there.
Mm.
Yeah, let me know you're there. What's good, everybody? We're gonna jump in just a minute.
Hey, Donisha.
What's up, Donisha?
Again. Hey,
What up, Eric?
Aaron. How you doing? So I'm Marquita. That's Jared. We do this every Tuesday night, 8:30 conversations with Jared and Marquita. And like you said, we just talk about a lot of stuff. Hey, Jason. We talk about relationships, stuff, love, insecurities. We talk about faithfulness. We talk about parenting. We talk about some taboo subjects. Um, and just things, the questions that people may have, or that things that may happen, experiences that we've had. We just share it with you guys because we understand that navigating through a relationship in life with another person, period, is just difficult at times and it can be challenging. So we're just trying to create a space for us to be able to chit
What up,
chat and
Jason?
know that everything's going to be okay. We're going to make it through.
Krishanda.
Hi, Krishanda.
All right, so before we jump in, is there any particular pressing question or subject matter that y'all want us to hit first? Any pressing subject? What's up, Travis?
Hi, Travis. How are you?
What up, Travis? That's the bishop.
Oh, hi.
So, is there any pressing question before we jump into the part two of last week? Chantel was good.
Good evening, Chantel.
Yeah. Hey, Crystal.
Good evening, Crystal.
They are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I don't see any questions, so we're not gonna hold them. Let's get to it. Darnell, what's up, man?
All right.
You want to give a recap of last week? What's up, Jessica?
Hey, Jessica. Yes. So last week, we segued into this topic. Is your relationship a safe space to fail? When we talked
First off,
about,
can y'all hear everybody? Can y'all hear as well? You gotta come over into the camera.
they got this.
What up,
Hey,
Erica?
Erica.
I want y'all let us know that you can hear Marquita good. You can hear me good, so that y'all can hear everything we gotta say. What's up, Shirley?
Hi, Miss Shirley Reed.
All right, good.
Okay, great. All right, so last week we talked about is your relationship a safe space to fail? And failure could mean infidelity, it could be you know, gambling, it could be parenting, just something that happened in your relationship that you or your companion may have done or said to cause some type of strife, and the other person took it and didn't receive it so well. So we're just trying to see, like, how do you handle the reactions? Are you ready for the reaction of your companion?
All right. So recap from last week. I talked about how I found myself in an inappropriate setting where I was compromising myself and my marriage, and I talked with Marquita about it. So that was my failure. That I put myself in a situation that I was not supposed to be in. And you gotta go back
Yeah.
to last week to listen to the details of that, because I told all the details there.
Hmm.
Anyway, so I let Marquita know, and we talked about how I had to pay for that for about 8 to 9 years, and we learned then. Well, I learned then that my relationship was not a safe place for me to fail.
Hmm.
It was not a safe place. What's up, Tamika?
Hey, Tamika,
It
talk
wasn't
to
a
me.
safe place for me to fail.
Hmm.
Yeah, and also to add to that, it wasn't a safe place for me to reveal my failure.
Hmm.
All right, so I had story time last week, so tonight is story time for Marquita. I don't know what she's going to say, like y'all don't, so I'm listening very intently as well.
So I realized that in that moment when Jared revealed his failure or his mistake, so to speak, to me, I realized that my failure was exposed. Um, the way I responded to him, it pretty much um, shed light on my insecurities, and it shed light on my own flaws. And so my response to him was I blew the roof off, the top off the place. Um, and I did not I made him pay for it, so to speak. I didn't make him feel as if he could come to me as a friend or as a spouse for anything that he may have been feeling or anything, any mistakes that he may have made in the future. I made him not feel safe enough, I'm sorry, to come to me to talk to me. And so that shed light on the insecurities that I was feeling. I started to feel inadequate, as if I wasn't good enough to hold his attention. I started to feel as if I couldn't trust him. I started to feel as if I wasn't worthy enough, so to speak, to be not just Jared's wife, but the first lady of the church. Because as you know, it's more women everywhere, especially in church, than it is men. And so my antennas were like on 10. Everybody in there. Not I won't say everybody in there, but it was just like I felt like I couldn't trust anybody around me, especially people that smiled in my face. Uh, like what did you have up your sleeve? Why are you trying to get close to me? Because you're trying to get close to him. And so that made me start looking at people differently. Anybody new or old from his past that came into our lives, I automatically shut them down or shut them out. I didn't allow them in close to me. And if I did allow them in close to me, I kept in the back of my mind, keep your enemies closer. So everybody was an enemy because I felt like he was on a pedestal. And that incident was like, no, my knight in shining armor has just been tainted with this. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. But I want to talk a little more about having him, so to speak, pay for it. Um, I didn't trust him, so everything that he did, everything he didn't do, what he said, what he didn't say, I questioned, or I just gave him grief about it. Um, and then I would throw it back up in his face, so to speak. Hey, Dana! I would
Okay,
throw
so
it back
pause for a
up in
second.
his face.
Since you pause, just speak to somebody. Say, hey everybody. Hey Liza, happy birthday again to Liza.
Hey, happy birthday!
So I'm a little confused.
Okay.
So if y'all want to see us argue, you're probably gonna see it tonight. So I don't hear the failure.
That is
I
my
hear your
failure.
response to what I did, but I don't hear the failure. I hear more of you got upset about the things about what I did. I mean, rightfully so. You got upset. Uh, I don't, and maybe I'm wrong. Does anybody? I mean, y'all help me out. I don't necessarily hear.
My failure, well, and what I feel is my failure is my I put you on a pedestal.
There was a failure.
And my yes, because you can't do that with anybody. Because I put you up too high to where I didn't give you I can't I now you don't have room to fail. Any little thing you do, I'm gonna pounce on you, and it's not going to be fair. Our relationship is not going to be fair because now you've done this to me. So whenever you try to do something good, if you do anything bad, that's going to take us back 10, 20 steps, and I'm gonna hold you accountable to that.
Right. My failure was based on me and solely me.
Right?
It sounds like your failure is based on if I fail or
It's
based
not
on me or what I did or did not do.
it's
I
not
think a
based
true
on
failure
you.
has nothing to do with the other person.
That's true. It's not based on that. I think I'm faulting myself for seeing you as the knight in shining armor, the white knight, whereas you cannot fail. You could not fail, and then or you cannot disappoint me. You are not supposed to disappoint me. I looked at you almost as if you were Jesus Junior, and because I did that, it caused myself turmoil. I caused you turmoil, but I caused myself turmoil, heartache because I put too much unrealistic expectation on you, and I demanded, so to speak, for you to please me in that manner.
So he
Yes,
says my
Chantel.
failure brought her failure to light.
Right,
I don't know if I like that at all because her failure has nothing to do with
right.
the
Thank you,
level of
Dana.
expectation that she placed upon you. Okay, cool. So was it a safe place for you to fail?
I mean, no, I don't feel as if that was right. It was just no, well, not right, but I don't feel as if that was a safe space for me to expose myself in this relationship because it was like a cycle of hurt, and so
Well, I'm lost. So your failure. What? I mean, it was a safe place for you to fail.
no, I'm saying it wasn't a
How
safe
not?
space because I shed light on my insecurities, which means I felt vulnerable and I left myself open to be hurt and attacked because you easily could have pointed out my insecurities and said that's on you, that's not on me. That's
Okay,
your
but what I got to do with it was it safe for you to have this fault? What was the fault? So I'm sure. So the fault was you putting me too high,
hmm
and it wasn't safe for you to do that.
no, that's not safe or wise to
I
do.
know it was wrong. That's a failure. That's what failure is. So, but
Correct.
we're trying to figure out. Well, I'm trying to figure out if it was safe because I had a failure
hmm
and I blundered. It wasn't safe for me to share that with you, to
Because
expose that failure because of how because of your response to it.
hmm
So you're saying that your failure was putting me too high,
hmm
but I don't see how it wasn't safe for
because
you
in
to actually expose, hey, this was a fault of mine.
Because you let me know that you're not pretty much, for lack of a better term, you're not Jesus Jr. I shouldn't have that much put unrealistic expectations on you because you are just a man and
Right.
you
So
will
what
disappoint
was
me.
wrong with me? So me sharing that with you, yeah, so it's okay because I'm not that. You shouldn't put me up that high. To me, that's actually accepting that, according to you, that was that accepting your failure and trying to help you in it.
But I mean, it was at the time I didn't see it that way. I saw it as you tearing me down because I put too much, almost like pressure on you
So
to get you
okay.
to perform a certain way.
So in there, you highlighting me again
No,
as
I'm
a
not
failure? Did you
highlighting.
say I tore you down?
In a sense, I'm not saying that you scolded me or
What are you
anything.
saying?
In a sense, you put me, you pretty much you gut checked me, saying like that's almost as if it was my fault for putting you up there. I'm not blaming you or saying you scolded me. I'm just telling you that was a failure for me because I put too much expectation or pressure on you to perform when you didn't or you disappointed. Now I pretty much, I want to say throw you to the wolves, but now it's just like I'm left with this and I'm hurt because you're saying like, well, that's not my fault that you put me up here. It's not on me that you are insecure. It's not on me that you are this, you're that.
All right. So Erica says maybe her failure was the fact that she responded the way she did and created the unsafe space for you to fail. Okay. Uh, Alicia says, I think he wants you to expose what you did wrong in your relationship or marriage, as Jared did last week.
Mm-hmm.
I missed last week. What did they talk about? Your explanation reminded me of a song. I want to save you, but I'm not God. All right, so what does Cedric say? So y'all is on here having a sanctified argument. Y'all somebody don't what? Y'all somebody don't halls and slap somebody and throw them. So okay, cool. I'm like some of the comments. I understand that. I'm not. I don't want to blow past that. Wherein um, I think you're sharing um, just some levels of growth. Wherein that particular failure of mine highlighted uh, some areas or exposed some past insecurities or some current insecurities that were dormant until that happened. I don't think being insecure is a failure. I think being insecure is human. Um, no matter how strong you are in a relationship, you still have insecurities. No matter
Mm-hmm.
how solid the relationship is, you still have insecurities. So I think, if anything, that exposed some of the, again, repeating the insecurities that were there dormantly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that as a failure. You putting me, as you call it, on a pedestal, I think it was just your affection and affinity towards me in such a high level. I don't call that as a failure either.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that life calls you to balance that uh, high level of thinking. So
Well,
that's why I'm, so to speak, confused. Like,
mm-hmm.
where's the failure? Because I'm with Alicia.
Mm-hmm.
We've been married for 15 years from Friday. I want to know the things that you did wrong, that that's obvious. I guess, like how I shared that.
Right. Okay. Well, I couldn't think of anything, and you couldn't think of anything either that
I
I did
could, but
wrong.
I
But you didn't share.
no.
Well, why didn't you share? I can think of nothing that I did wrong.
Okay, but this week you just did
So,
that.
I mean, I couldn't think of anything I did wrong, so to speak. So besides that, and with that, I thought of all of this, and I thought of the fact that many women do that. They put their companion up a little too high, and then it comes back and bite them in the butt later on.
Joe, 8 years hard time.
Hmm.
Which I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, but men do.
And to me, that's a failure because you should never
I
do
don't
that.
think that's a failure.
I
I
think
think
it's a
it's
failure.
it's a
You
miss.
don't do that.
I think it's the immature love, and I think as you mature, you know how to love from a more balanced place. I don't think it's a failure.
That's a good explanation.
So, I mean, so we can tiptoe on along. What I'm not going to do is push push out something what I think you did or didn't do. That's why I didn't share it. Uh, if you ain't got nothing, then I ain't got nothing to give you. I just want to make it clear that my wife is saying and that she's just as beautiful as she can be, and I love her to life. We've been together for 16 years, and she's done absolutely nothing wrong. But we're gonna move on. I'm getting here late, but we are trying to find what she did wrong.
Yes, Joe.
Joe, my wife has revealed to all of us that she is actually Mary Jr., Mary, the mother of Jesus Jr. Uh,
Dana, yeah.
at least she said she wasn't trying to put you on the spot.
Huh? No, you didn't put me on the spot. I understood what you're saying, but to me, it just seems like that failure was my failure. I did that. I failed, pretty much failed myself for my behavior, my actions, and I reaped the repercussions, not the repercussions, but I reaped the consequences
Of
of
what?
doing that, of putting you on the pedestal.
That's okay. We can move on. All right. So I think one of the biggest struggles of relationships is the thing that's at the root of all of us, and that is our sheer selfishness. That's a question. What happened outside of Jar's failure? Well,
What?
that's what Marquita shared. That she couldn't think of anything. Uh, so anyway, um, I think that she just can't think of anything right now. It's okay. Yes, it is.
Girl, we done had a week to think. I still can't think of that thing.
I assure you, is a whole laundry list of things.
Why don't you tell me so I can address it? Tell me right here or something.
Oh,
So
I tell
I
you
can.
your ear.
You should have told me before this. We went live so I could address it.
Well, here's a failure right now before you guys' eyes
Okay.
that my wife doesn't see her failures.
Mm.
So that's a failure all in itself. Now, and let me say that if you can't see your failure, then you're not going to reconcile them, you're not going to adjust them, and you're likely going to continue to perpetuate them because you can't see them. And you don't, and even if it's told to you, you don't
It'd be hard to accept
them.
it.
It's not necessarily hard, it's just you don't accept it. And so, thus, whatever that may be, becomes a perpetual uh, act, or either just a perpetual way of how you do things. Either she can't see them or she does not want to face them. It's both. It's both. Because when you don't want to face them, thus you won't see them. All right. So, and as much as I love Marquita, and we are here now.
No, just talk.
I'm not. I'm not. But anyway, as much as I love Marquita, could you imagine what it's like to be married to someone for such a time and they don't see themselves having any blunders?
That's very hard. That could be very hard, difficult.
Yeah.
Uh, and for some people, they couldn't continue, or they wouldn't continue. Because, like, what's the point? If it seems one sided, a relationship can seem one sided. Like it's always the other person's fault. So what's the point? What? I'm commenting.
I'm letting you talk. Go ahead.
I'm done.
I mean, I'm thankful. Listen, I'm thankful that you got the sister girls on here, um, helping you out. I think they help you
No, they trying to get to the nitty gritty. Oh
out.
goodness.
So all right. So let me show you another thing that's happening here, and it's happening live. She said, "Huh?" Um, uh, actually, talking about you, what you were saying.
You
Uh,
trying to figure out what was I explaining? Oh, go ahead.
so while she's typing that, let me show you another thing that's happening right before your eyes. Is that as a husband, I'm going to always protect my wife. So um, I'm not going to just throw her under the bus. I'm not going to, um, you know, put her out like that in order to make a live go well. And that's what a husband does. A husband protects, right? Jared should whisper in your ear because maybe you think that you are successful in an area and he thinks you are failing.
Failing in the area.
Nah, I'm not whispering nothing.
I
So yeah, and that's just what I mean. It's anyway. No,
just wanted okay, so the people are on here and they're looking for a show, so to
forget the
speak.
show.
Not it's not a show, that's just lack of turn. They just trying to get we promised them a failure. And so if I so we can say off camera, if there's a
Sounds
failure
like
that you
wisdom
can
to
think
me.
of,
Tamika. Sounds like wisdom to me.
no, if you think that there's a failure, then yeah, let me know so I can address it so we can help. We're supposed to be helping others. I mean, we done been through it. So it's like, I mean,
No show. Absolutely. So no. So what I'm going to show y'all is that I'm protect my wife. Yeah. No. 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 You said she want to fix it. Okay. I'm not sure. Okay.
what you mean? You're not sure what?
Krista said you want to fix it. For one,
Well, I want to understand. So yeah, fix this situation. But yeah, I want to understand so I can not be the person that doesn't see their flaws or doesn't
Ken,
see their
talk to me.
wrong.
Ken, talk to me, Ken.
Be quiet, Ken.
What you say now?
Ah! I said I don't want to be the person that doesn't see their flaws, and so um, or doesn't see their failures or their wrongdoings. If I can't see it, I don't want it to be thought that I can see it, but I can't accept it, because that's just, in my opinion, it's just not true for me
What's not true for you?
that I can see it, but I won't accept it. So I want to know, like, what is it? Can you point it out?
All right. So putting your husband on a pedestal
Mm-hmm.
is no way wrong. Your disappointment in him made you feel the way, feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Business, if you didn't have him.
Because if you didn't have him
Oh, I'm sorry.
that high,
Uh,
he couldn't fall that low.
right.
The wrong
Is
is
the
the
8 year
8 year
punishment.
punishment.
Hurts
Hurts
will
will
happen,
happen,
but we
but we
can't
can't
let
let
past hurt
past
get in
hurt
the
get
way
in the
of
way of
tomorrow.
tomorrow's love.
All right. No, growth comes from rejection, not exposing one's flaws. Because I'm here. So what do you think about that?
Um, I
He
think
said that
that is,
the failure was the punishment for 8 years.
hmm, um, I think I touched on that when I gave my little explanation earlier. Um, I mean, yes, I felt myself. I feel like I felt myself as a woman. I mean, we some of us are taught that we don't do that. However, when we
Do
get,
what?
you don't put a man
You
before
said that's
yourself.
not it.
But I'm telling you my explanation. Some of us are taught you don't put a man too high. You don't do this. You don't put a man before yourself and all that kind of stuff. Some women are taught that by their mothers or women in their lives, because and if you're in just in a regular relationship, they'll tell you, look out for you, make sure you have your nest egg, make sure you have your stuff together. Because if he decides to do X, Y, Z, you good, you straight. So in my opinion, I didn't do that. and I put you too high, and I felt like, now what am I gonna do? He done did this. Now I'm gonna be talked about. Now I got to go through all the feelings and all of the backlash that comes with that. That comes with that. Then I got confused by that. I got to deal with everything that comes with that, and so that made me angry and anxious. I got scared, and at the same time, I still felt like I needed to do what I needed to do to protect me. So any little thing you did, yes, I made you feel it. I punished you, so to speak, for however long it was. 8 years, 9 years, 15, I don't know. But I made you feel it. And that was, like just said, that is a failure.
Okay. So since we're out here, I want to show you all something. Joe just said that it wasn't the whole putting your husband on a pedestal and thinking too highly of him.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was the punishment. Or forget the specifics. Joe said it's not A, it's B.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your response to Joe was all about A. So
Mm-hmm.
even though Joe was saying, "Hey, I need you to focus on B," you didn't focus on B. You did a whole your whole conversation. Let's say if it was 60 seconds, 50 seconds of your explanation, your response to Joe saying this B was all talking about A. So that may be a failure within itself, as if you and I even
Which
interrupted.
is me not seeing.
No, I interrupted and interjected. Was like, no, no, no. He said this. He was like, no, no, no. I want to talk about A.
Mm-hmm.
And so that within itself is, say for instance, if B was the flaw, your response, your natural response just then was, I don't want to talk about B.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about A. And so that in itself can be what I'm saying. That and then after 16 years of us being together, 15 years married, you don't want to see those things. Because even just then, I'm just repeating, so that I'm clear. Somebody said it's not A, I think it's B.
Mm-hmm.
And your response was, I don't want to talk about B. Let's talk about A.
Okay. So with that,
All right, wait a minute. So Lisa said, Jared, if you notice things that you could be fixed with your wife, do you tell her, or are you not doing it now since we're on the camera? The latter. I'm not doing it now since we're on the camera. Anxiety can easily have us look for perfection in others, especially our significant others. But yeah, I'm not doing it on the. I'm not doing it on the camera.
so with
I am doing it as a little bit, with just exposing exposing the things in the conversation that is being shared. But I'm not. But other than that, I'm not doing this one again.
okay, I think, well, I can only speak for me that if I can't understand it, then it's hard for me to accept it. If
Right.
it don't
But
make
even.
sense for me to,
Mhm.
then it's hard for me to understand it. It's not that I don't want to accept it. I just want to understand it before I say, "Oh yeah, that's me."
Okay, but even with that, you didn't even address it.
I did address
You did
it.
not. You addressed A
I did address
for
A, but
50
I
for
did
50
address
seconds,
B.
and
I
then
said
the 10
that.
seconds was okay B.
So, but I addressed it.
No. So
But I addressed it.
this is what I'm talking about. And you don't want
No, no,
if
no.
I'm saying basically uh, the person was saying forget about A.
Hmm.
I think it's B.
So
So let's
elaborate.
just hit B.
Right.
You
So
didn't do that.
I did not. I did A, and but I touched on B. You're saying focused on B, which was
So
what
so
someone thought was the flaw.
but what I'm saying is forget that particular scenario. But I'm saying that's what happens. And I think it
Mhm.
was clear to
Mhm.
me anyway that I'm saying is this, and it's like I don't want to either accept that, thus I'm not going to address that. And so you address something else, and then if you really listen to your scenario, it was all about me
Mhm.
because I did this and because I did that and da da da. And my people told me that I should have did this, should have did that. It had nothing to do with your failure or a failure of yours. It was I didn't you I disappointed you, and you people told you that you should have got this in place, and you want to hear what they got to say now that I disappointed you. It had nothing to do with I. And so the other portion was trying to point I to you, and it was like I don't want to address that. All right. So how do you two overcome? How did you two overcome the 8 years of torture? Keita, why did you put him through the 8 years of punishment? How
Why
did
did
we
I?
overcome the 8 years
Mm,
of punishment? So let me answer it first, and then you can answer
mm.
Dan. I'm just gonna be honest, because for one, we did it together. It wasn't just me. But I will say this: that um, I like Marquita, and I liked Marquita, and then I decided to love her, and that came very, very, very early on. Really, before we got married, I decided to love Marquita. Love is not an emotion. Love is a decision. And so 8 years or 15 years punishment, I decided to love her. And so love overcomes all. So how did we get through those 8 year of punishment? I loved my wife. So you can answer Dana. Kita, why did you put him through 8 years?
I don't even know if it was 8 years.
It was. It was more than
When
that.
it's, I was, I don't think it. I think it was longer than 8 years. It wasn't intentional. I would say that it wasn't intentional. It was just I was not um strong enough, so to speak, in my acknowledging my insecurities, accepting them, and working through them. I didn't know how to do that. So I would just lash out or withhold my feelings, hold back, and it was almost like I would rip the band-aid off to say, okay, yeah, I forgive you, but I didn't really forgive you. I didn't process anything. I was just mad, and because I felt like it was your fault. If you would have listened to me, if you would have just not did this, that's just how I responded. So I didn't. We didn't have what we have now. We didn't have therapy or counseling to show me so that I can adjust and process it and work through it with my husband. I'm just, you hurt me. I don't want to be bothered with you. Now I want to be bothered with you, but I don't want to be bothered with you. Now I want to be bothered with you. And that's just how it was.
So with that, we never uh, we've never really addressed it in head on, like in therapy and things like that.
Mm-mm.
It just um, it went away after a while. But
Right.
if you are if you have created this particular person, um, that is a punishment to me over years and years and years, it becomes habitual and it becomes a habit of who you are. And so, although we didn't address the particular thing, um, it is it's who you are, and so it's also how you have learned to respond to anything that feels like the way you felt.
Mm-hmm.
So, and probably because we didn't address it head on, although you are learning more about yourself and how to respond differently, but it's still some of that is still there when you're not
Mm-hmm.
when you're I guess perhaps when your spirit man is not really up and you don't want and your emotions are taking over,
Mm-hmm.
then that those 8 years that taught you how to punish
Mm-hmm.
just immediately kicks back on.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Go down. So got a bunch of comments coming in. Someone is
Hey, Curling, Dia, Miss Dee Dee.
hey everybody, Dia. Okay, go up. How you go up?
All
It
right. So
says
Ebony says, "I love the transparency in this
this
discussion.
discussion
It
it
was
is so
necessary. Yes,
necessary.
yes, yes." Ken says, "What in the world is the 8-year punishment? Did you go over this in my marriage counseling 11 years ago?" Because I was punished for the whole 11 years. That's why I'm divorced now.
Yeah.
Uh, Chantel said that sounds like a punishment. What part of it? What you talking about, Willis?
Does that
Yeah,
sound like a failure?
a failure. I'm sorry. I want to know that too. What exactly are you saying sounded like a failure? Miss Shirley said, "How did you feel putting Pastor Jared through 8 years of torture? Did you feel you were getting him back for what he did?" Good.
God, so pleased with what it is that you all are doing for us through your own lives and ministry. Thank you, Ebony. Miss Shirley, no, I didn't feel like I was getting him back. Like I said, it wasn't like an intentional thing. You did this, so now I do this. I was just hurt and didn't know how to deal with the hurt. I didn't know how to forgive and forget, so to speak, or forgive and let it be. Um, it was almost as if I just wanted that incident to never had happened because I felt like you chose someone over me after I warned you, after I, you know, gave you repeated warnings, but you're your own person. You got to make your own decisions, just like me. And I decided to act out each time whenever I was hurt, whenever, um, even when this person came around, came into town, came around, came in our space, it just was like a band-aid being ripped off, and I was reminded, and I relived it all again, and I acted out all over again. And whatever any activity or behaviors were similar to what I felt was what he did, what he admitted that he did, I lashed out. So I didn't know how to deal with the hurt, the embarrassment. I didn't know how to deal with just my anger. And the way that I chose to deal with it was the punishment. And it took however years, 8, 9, 10, 15. It took years for me to get to a better place to where I learned that that wasn't safe for him. And it wasn't safe. It wasn't right for me to do.
So two things to that. Um, One is that so it took years, for you to. Well, I would say it took years for you to do anything. It was perpetuated for years. Um, uh, which means that again, that becomes who you are.
Hmm.
Um, and so that is still there. Um, yeah, it's still there. And I think also, if you feel justified in it, then it will not seem as like a failure to you.
If I what?
If you feel justified
Hmm.
in it, then it's not going to seem like a failure. So it would be fruitless for me to point something out because you feel justified in it. So you're just going to um, argue how or why what you're doing
Hmm.
suits your emotion at the moment.
Curtis says, so if this particular person comes around now, how will or would you react to them?
It would have to be that a typology. It's this type of spirit
Right. I was gonna say I don't want
energy,
to say
rather.
the person. It will be if because it has shown up plenty of times, and I think that as long as we have a tight understanding, and as long as I continue to work on me to make sure I feel secure in myself first and in my marriage, that my marriage is not penetrable, then I think I'll be fine. Um, Now I'm not gonna say if I see something that's just disrespectful that I'm just gonna turn the other cheek. I'm still working on that part. Overall, and that's just in general. Um, However, I will probably be bothered because I would feel like, why you want to try me? Initially, that's just who I am. Don't try me. I don't try you. Don't try me. However, it's still gonna, because of my makeup of who I am, it's still gonna probably bother me. Um, and as long as we have a conversation about it, we address it, and I say, listen, this is what's happening on inside of me. I tell him, I come to him and talk to him. I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling insecure about something. I'm feeling jealous about something, or this is not making me comfortable. So I'm just telling you, so you're aware how I'm feeling. That gives him uh, some type of understanding of if my behavior shifts, or to where he can be like, okay, let me watch my interaction, or let me watch my behavior or whatever, so as to not set me off, and so as for me to feel like, okay, I'm good over there. I ain't got nothing to worry about, so to speak.
All right. So Curtis says, Pastor Jay, how would you react if you see Lady M reverting back to punishing you again? So how have I reacted would be a better question, and how do I react
Mm-hmm.
when I see her reverting back to punishing me again? Uh, I do a few things. One, ultimately, I just roll with punches. Uh, Two, I pointed out, I am not one to hold my tongue. Uh, I am one to, I like to address things. Uh, there's a confronter, and then there's an avoider. I'm the confronter. And simply because, I mean, I don't like being frustrated or being hurt uh, or anything negative like anybody else. And so I talk about it. I don't say you're punishing me again. Um, and to be quite honest, I don't say you're punishing me again because quote unquote the punishment has become the what Marquita does when she's punishing has become a part of our relationship. And so I don't necessarily revert it back to 14 years ago, which is unfortunate because that means that the punishment from Marquita has become too regular. So it's almost like that's just who she is. So I just roll with punches. Joseph says, I love the way women love us men. Only her love would make her react that way. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, yeah.
I thought I saw some more questions. Ooh, then it said it sounded like Marquita Green showed up during that time. Yeah, she did.
Well, I don't know who
Her
Marquita Green
her
is, and
acting
am.
act.
I don't intend to
She was
ever know who
playing.
Marquita Green is. I don't. I didn't marry. Uh,
You did marry Marquita
no, I
Green.
didn't. I married Marquita Williams.
You married Marquita Green.
I don't know who that is. You take her back wherever she can.
You can't do that. She is me. I am she.
All right. So any questions? What time is it? All right. Any questions? Any questions? Um, and then we are different in our personality. I am very straightforward. I am. I like to be very clear, and I go straight to the punch. And I'm aggressive. Uh, Marquita is more passive. Um, Marquita will kind of do a broad stroke and with a big brush, and I do a very fine-tuned brush. And so sometimes that can look differently. And so to reiterate what happens today, we were talking about part two of failures, allowing Marquita to share hers. And this is my summation of that. As she said, I don't have any. But if that wasn't it, then I haven't had any. Um,
I didn't say that.
hmm?
I didn't say I didn't have
Well,
any.
you can't think of any, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
That's not the same.
okay. I guess it's weird. Good job. Uh, um, yeah. So Marquita says she can't think of any. it is my summation that it's hard for her to see herself and actually share it with y'all too. Um, her faults, and some people are like that, and share her wrongs. Um, but know that again, love overcomes all of that. And as a man, the men who are listening to me, you have to be willing to be the foundation and the roof of your marriage. So she stands on me, and I also cover her. So I'm both the roof and the foundation. And with that, the roof takes the beating that nobody sees because everybody's in the house. It's out raining and it's out pouring, and hurricane is happening, and tree limbs are falling, hail is falling. The roof is taking the beating when no one ever goes outside and says, "Oh man, we got a great roof. Thank you for the roof." You just enjoy the covering in the house. Same thing with the as the man, no matter what happens, I'm the foundation, and so I have to carry all the weight. And even if that weight is um, like we saw tonight, my wife saying, "I don't really, I don't really know. I can't think of anything that's a flaw." Be be it resolved. There are a lot of failures and a lot of flaws that my wife contends with, and that I have to feel the brunt of. But as a foundation, I have to carry that weight, and love allows me to do so. You got anything you want to add?
That's it. That's all. Nope. Nothing to add.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Any questions
Any questions?
or comments? Uh,
You all right, sir?
mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
I do challenge. I appreciate that, Joe. I do challenge you all to um, look and try to discover your failures, and and see if it's a safe place in your relationship to actually expose those failures. Some of those failures may have nothing to do with or most
The
of them have nothing to
companion.
do with the companion,
Hmm.
but it will affect them. I'll say it's had nothing to do with those failures are not because of the companion, although they will affect the your companion. But I challenge you to have the conversation within yourself and then perhaps with one another as to what are you guys' failure. And here's what I think may happen. One, just like in any relationship, you have a spender and a saver. In any relationship, you have a talker and a non-talker. I think we can add to that in any relationship. Like now, you're gonna have somebody that is easy for them to share and expose and talk about their failures, and one in your relationship that is not easy. Um, that's what happens and has happened in our relationship, and then now even publicly before you. One, that doesn't mean that that person doesn't know, um, and it also doesn't mean that they have to verbalize it. That may be too difficult. Um, but here's what I believe. This is the whole pastor side of it. That I don't have to be Marquita's Holy Spirit. The things that um, are failures, the Holy Spirit will always reveal those. Now,
Hmm.
Marquita may never say it to me, but that doesn't mean that the Holy Spirit has not revealed it to her and is not working on her with him.
that was good.
So this is hard, hard conversations. Go ahead.
No, I was like, that was good. And it's true. Um, we're just like Curtis said, yin and yang, yin and yang. Um, and just because we're different, that doesn't mean it's bad. Unless we communicate differently or we understand differently.
Right, and we'll have to
It
talk about
doesn't
that
mean
next time.
anybody that fault or somebody wrong or something like that.
We'll have to talk about that next time because for me, because I communicate that way, I say it. I want you to as well.
Right. That's the way that you feel heard and loved
Right. And so to not get that
is a challenge
becomes a bother for me to contend with,
Mhm.
because that says more to me than silence. There was this friend of mine today sharing that she inadvertently asked a guy out, and he never responded. Um, she didn't really ask him. She was like, "Hey, you should come by the gym." And he was like, "Yeah, I hear y'all go in hard over there at the gym." And she's like, "Yeah, you should come by." And so she said he never responded. And so she's bothered because she's like, "Okay, you won't say anything. You won't respond to my invitation to the gym. To the gym." And I'm saying to her, "You didn't really ask me to the gym." But the fact that she needs that response in her mind, he's ignoring her. He doesn't want to go, um, and she feels rejected because she needed the response. That's how she hears. And maybe he was just thinking about it, and contemplating it inside. But for the one who needed to hear it, she's like tortured now. That's why she's talking to me about it.
Mhm.
It's like he hates me or whatever, whatever. Because so language is vital. Language is vital.
And learning your type, your what is it, enneagram?
Just learn your personality.
Yeah,
Learn who you are.
and it's easy. I was specifically mentioning enneagram because you can say learn it, but people don't know. How do I do that? They just self.
So Enneagram is a way to learn your personality. It's an assessment. It's called Enneagram. You can look it up. But ultimately, you have to learn yourself. Uh, Shanika asks, "Do you deal with the differences or see if your significant other will change once you let them know what you don't like?" Pastor
Hmm.
Ferguson, what's good? So we're not gonna get into this because our time is up, but people don't change. If you're expecting for someone to change, you're letting yourself down because people do not change. They may grow, they may adjust for you, but who they are, they will always be there at their core. Even uh, the person who was on dope for 14 years will still say to you, "Hey," and then they've been sober for 14 years, will say to you, "I am a 14-year recovering addict," which
Hmm.
means at my core, I'm still that person.
Hmm.
Today, through my growth, I choose not to
Right.
smoke dope, but I'm still that person.
Mm.
All right.
Somebody asked what is our types, enneagram types. I'm a I'm a type 2.
I'm a type 8. I'm a challenger. That's my type 8. And in Marquita's stress, she's an 8.
Right. And I think in yours you're
In my when I'm really calm or whatever, I'm a 2.
you're 2.
So it's kind of
Hmm.
ironic. When I'm stressed, she's me, as if I'm wrong,
When
as
what?
if I'm bad. Huh?
When you're stressed?
When you're stressed,
When I'm stressed, I'm you.
you're me,
Right.
as if I'm bad. But when I'm
When you're stressed, you're
no, no,
me.
no. When I'm good, when
Or
I'm
when
calm,
you're
when I'm
calm.
peaceful,
Yeah.
then I'm you.
Mm.
Anyway, good night. Thank y'all for always rocking with us. These conversations are not easy to have. Um, uh, being in a relationship is not easy to do. And I think having these conversations is is
Curtis!
vital. Is vital, right? Because now, and let me tell you this, um, we didn't have this,
What? No,
know,
that's no, we
for
didn't.
someone to help us.
Mm-mm.
Not that we didn't have help, because I guess we could have
We could
been
have
going to
went. We
counseling
just
earlier on, or whatever. But I think this is vital, because sometimes just talking things out. We're not trying to be the be all and end all of everything, knowing everything right and
right,
wrong, but just having a safe uh, platform to talk these
right.
things out,
Child.
for you all to.
Facebook ain't safe. You talking about safe platform?
It is safe. It's safe for them to be able to listen
Well, yeah, that's true.
and sit with their companions, or they go
Hmm.
back and look at it and watch it. And it's safe for me, because I don't care what y'all say. To be honest with you, I'm not concerned about what y'all think. And it's safe for you, because you may care a little more. But I'm not concerned about what you all think. If I was, I wouldn't be sharing it. And I'm not concerned what you all may decide to do with this, because it's on the internet. Somebody may meme it, and somebody may cut it up, and make it say whatever they may think it, whatever they wanted to say. It doesn't bother me. Uh, so it's safe for me, because I know why I'm doing it.
Hmm.
I'm not doing it to entertain, nor am I doing it to be seen. I'm doing it to help, and I think it's doing just that. You all are the MVPs.
Oh, thank you, Miss Shirley.
Yes, our anniversary is in a few days.
Friday.
Friday,
Hmm.
Wednesday, Friday. So 3 days is our 15th year anniversary. Our wedding anniversary is in 15 years. I mean, I'm sorry, in 3 days.
Hmm.
Okay, are we signing off?
Yeah, I guess so. Thank you, Tamika. Well, it was something that you said I was gonna comment on. I lost my train of thought. Thank you, thank you. Pastor Ferguson said he just finished Bible study. Oh, happy early birthday to your daughter, Miss Ebony. That's a good date.
Very good.
Curtis, Curtis, you like watching people kiss. That's the second time you done told us to kiss. Hurry up, kiss so Curtis can. There you go, Curtis.
Good night.
Good night, y'all.